aria-labeled-by is an example of what we refer to as a relationship attribute. A relationship attribute creates some kind of semantic relationship between elements on the page. In the case of aria-labeled-by, that relationship is this element is labeled by that element, or as the case may be, this element is labeled by those elements. The ARIA 1.0 spec lists several relationship attributes, with a few more coming in ARIA 1.1. Most ARIA relationship attributes take a reference to one or more elements to create a new link between elements on the page. What differs in each case is what that link means and how it is presented to users. One of the most widely used ARIA relationships is aria-owns. This allows us to tell assistive technology that an element which is separate in the DOM should be treated as a child of the current element, or to rearrange existing child elements into a different order. For example, if a pop-up submenu is visually positioned near its parent menu, but cannot be a DOM child of it because that would affect the visual presentation, or because the element is used in several different contexts, we can use aria-owns to present the submenu as a child of the parent menu. In terms of the accessibility tree, we start off with two menus which aren't semantically linked in any way. If the submenu is showing, an assistive technology user would not be able to explore into it in the context of the other menu. It would appear after the end of it. By setting aria-owns on a placeholder in the top level menu, we can express the submenu relationship without affecting the appearance of the submenu. Aria-owns can take a list of ID references, so it can also be used to explicitly specify the order of children, for example, to rearrange children, or interleave native and non-native children. By default, aria-owned children will come after natively owned children. Aria-activedescendant plays a related role. Just as the active element of a page is the one which has focus, setting the active descendant of an element allows us to tell assistive technology that when its parent has page focus, it should be presented to the user as the actual focused element. For example, if we have a listbox widget, we may wish to keep focus on the listbox container so that it can receive keyboard events, and keep its aria-activedescendant attribute updated to the currently selected list item. This makes the currently selected item appear to assistive technology as if it is the focused item. Aria-describedby allows you to provide an accessible description in the exact same way that aria-labeled-by allows you to provide a label. This is a useful technique whenever there is some extra explanatory text that a user might need, whether that applies to only users of assistive technology or all users. One common example is a password input field which is accompanied by some descriptive text explaining the requirements for a valid password. Unlike a label, the description may or may not ever be presented to the user. They may have a choice of whether to access it, or it may come after all the other information and be preempted by something else. For example, if they start entering information, their input will be echoed back and interrupt the description of the element. So description is a great way to communicate information which is supplementary but not essential. It won't get in the way of other more essential information like the role of the element. Like aria-labeled-by, aria-describedby may reference elements which are otherwise not visible, whether hidden from the DOM or hidden from assistive technology users. The remaining two relationship attributes are a little different and work together. aria-posinset, short for position in set, and aria-setsize are about defining a relationship between sibling elements in a set, such as a list. In the case where the size of the full set cannot be determined by the elements present in the DOM, such as when lazy rendering is used to avoid having all of a large list in the DOM at any given time, aria-setsize can be used to specify the actual size of the set, and aria-posinset can be used to specify the position of the element in the set. For example, in a set which might potentially contain 1,000 elements, I can say that a particular element has an aria-posinset of 857, even though it appears first in the DOM, and then use dynamic HTML techniques to ensure the user can explore the full list on demand. Note that aria-setsize is set on the items in the set and not on the set container.